this reset, when the reset happens, and when the ball drops and it's lights out for the 2021 year, to start off the new year with a 3-day quietness, all the banks shut down, everybody's money goes to zero when it turns back on. When everything turns back on, my wish, it's a requirement, it's a desire, it's a recommendation, it's a demand, it's a mandate. I mandate at the beginning of the year, when the power gets turned back on, the EMP hit, the whatever they want to blame it on, the asteroids coming from the skies, North Korea shooting off missiles, terrorist attack, airplanes, second 9/11 type ordeal, whatever the case is that's going to happen. My desire at the beginning of the year 2021 is, well, I want to enforce the actual federal law on these shopping stores and everywhere that I can go into. My wish is to have the authority, like, I mean, this thing here, this is my authority not to wear a mask. I mean, it didn't work in ShopRite because they're pretty gung-ho about violating the federal laws, which makes me sick. And I'm not even the one that made the laws. I'm not even a federal law enforcement officer. I'm not even a cop. I never planned on being a cop. I never wanted to be one. I've always been on the other side of the law when it comes to the cops. But it's ironic because my best friend, besides you two from before, is a cop. He wasn't a cop when he was my best friend. Well, one of my best friends, but I consider him, you know, because it's pretty much the only friend I got outside of YouTube. You know, he's the one that hooked me and my wife up. Him and his wife, it's his wife's friend, and so it was because of him, of me working on his house back in 2009. But anyway, now that I'm on the right side of the law, even though they're trying to tell me that I'm not, they're trying to tell me, see, I can see where the Bible fits into play, where some of you will be thrown into prison. Because if you take it to the fullest extent, you know you're not trespassing because it's a federal law that they're actually breaking by saying you're trespassing when you're not trespassing, because there's no law that states that you have to wear this mask. There is a law that states you must not wear a mask, and you'll be convicted of a crime if you try to wear a mask.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good night.
Yep. If you wear a mask and you're trying to force somebody out of the store, that aggravates your crime. The guy, Ali, has Ali Barakat, I think his last name is something, Barakat, a cat. He, from what I heard and what AI adds to the closed caption in the video, is that when I said I'll wait right here for the officer, and he said, well, I will carry you out to the car. I'm pretty sure it was something like along those lines. As I was talking to Ali, and I rewatched the video, he, in the beginning, asked the other guy for Joe, who is the guy I was trying to talk to, the owner, Joe Calhay. He was asking him to have Joe call the sheriffs. And then he comes over spitefully with his mask down, looking at me, and then waiting for the cop to get there to show the cop that he has his mask down, and then puts it up and then acts like, oh, he got in his way. He was pretending that he was pretending he didn't see the cop, and he was like acting as if he walked in his way. It was so weakly orchestrated, and I don't know, but maybe somebody can tell me. He stood there and he had his hand very unusually, like with almost like a Masonic standstill of a hand, like symbol, and then took that down and then did the mask sign when his employee explained to the officer he doesn't know if he knows what the mask rule is, but everybody needs to wear a mask, and then he does the mask symbol. And he walked by a couple times too in the video with his mask up, I guess to see if I notice who he is. Like, hey Joe, hey Joe, because I didn't even know that was Joe in the ShopRite Warminster Township management picture with him and Ollie standing next to the guy that he gave the check to because he's supporting Christ Home. Well, we're going to see about that. And the other lady was somebody from politics or something. But he walked back a couple times, and then at the end of the video, well, it's almost like this was perfectly gang-stalkingly orchestrated as I'm talking, and then Ali's saying, if you look, I mean, we have a policy, nobody has COVID, and then the janitor lady walks by with her mask down underneath her nose in between me and Ollie, which Ollie was about 6 feet from me, so she walked in between, so obviously she cut the distance in half. And then Mr. Kohei comes up and takes his mask down while he's standing maybe like 3 feet from Ollie, who's over there, and maybe he was like maybe 8 feet diagonal from me. And then at the end of the video, as the cop is saying, look around the store, everybody's wearing a mask on cue, and he's standing right there apparently, and then he walks right by with his mask off and his head turned, and you can see that he has the white collar and his wrap around his ear, which was his glasses. Nah, it's unacceptable. So my desire, my earnest desire, is for the Department of Justice, which is Jonathan Kleck, the Department of Justice. We put the watermarks on the ballots of Trump. Department of Justice, right? Well, I know that the whole reason for this thing is to find people that are willing to lay down the law and, you know, for free. So I only started to get into this. I started to look into it when Acme gave me a problem, but I eased off of Acme because I did show her the card, and then she's like, oh, well, you know, if you would have done that in the first place, I would have just let you in. But my wife would tell you that she calls it spiteful when it comes to showing people what they're doing wrong, because she would always like accuse me of things, because that demon inside of her that I've cast out for the most part tries to pop its head up sometimes. I cast that demon out of her, and it was the one that would accuse me of things, and you know, I'm innocent. So the accusations would create conflict. I mean, I'm pretty used to being accused of stuff. I'm not completely innocent. It's not like I haven't sinned over these past 3.5 years, but only Jesus never sinned ever in his entire life. Maybe the second half. Maybe that's because now you know, like, yeah, it's like an eye is on you. all the time. So you kind of keeps you from doing things. But she'll tell you that I'm pretty spiteful, but she only said spiteful because she didn't like that I would show her basically the mirror of her sin and then have her see and feel what it's like to have the shoe on the other foot. So I have no problem making people feel the way that they should when they're trying to make you feel a certain way, as they're pointing the finger at you, but yet they're the ones guilty of it. So the mask thing is a purpose designed to see who understands the rules, the laws, and who is going to follow the rules of the laws that they're making up in their stores. Like Ali said, it's my law. I'm making up my law. It's my law. It's my rules. It's store policy. You have to follow the policy. Now, you don't have to follow the policy at all. I called corporate today. They're not calling me back, so I can see where this is heading. I'm sure by now the owner got my letter that was certified, and supposedly the corporate guy was going to tell him to give me a call. Now that I realize he was in the video, oh, he's not calling me. He already knows what I'm going to say. He's not going to call me. This ain't going to stop. I'm not going to let up. So my desire is, I want all the authority to be able to have a legitimate badge that says I'm part of the Department of Justice. Yep. Federal Bureau Investigation, DEA, FBI, whatever title that is, I want the authority. Because that way I don't have to go and call corporate and bother, try to get, and then go to press charges, like, and then the district attorney's office. And then when you go to court, it's like, I'm not wearing a mask, and, well, you can't come in without a mask. Okay, so let me file charges against someone that's breaking the law, and then I can't go in because you're required to wear a mask. Look, I need authority, Jonathan Clegg. I feel like I put a lot of work in, and especially on this last little incident, because I wasn't getting a problem going in the stores, and I was trying to explain that to people. Nobody's telling you to put the mask on beside yourself. I would have never known this if I just either stayed out of stores like I did in the beginning. I just didn't go into stores when the mask rule was in effect. Then then it got drug out too long. Like, no, I'm not. And then I started to attempt to go in, and I get a problem here and there. But out of all the times I went into a store, it is 95% of the times I got zero problems. ShopRite, they put the wall up. They put the wall up, and I'm punching that wall through. They're not going to get what there's just no. So my desire is to have the authority starting January 4th to be able to show my badge as I walk into the store without a mask. You send me to any stores around the entire America, I don't care. I'll go into any store and I'll lay down the law for every single person there. And, I'll be a little bit more intimidating with a badge that says Department of Justice. I have a t-shirt, but I'm not going to wear it because I don't have the authority per se to. I don't want to impersonate a DOJ officer. I want to actually be one. Because, well, who the hell, who's enforcing these laws? Besides us, we the people. So we the people, the ones enforcing the law, the ones that, even if you don't agree with it, but you haven't really went in and did like the thing that I was doing, but your desire is to do that, my request is everybody that wants to be someone to enforce the federal laws into these stores after the reset to start over, however the reset is, whatever it is with the currency, however it's going to be, life is going to continue on right here on this planet called Earth, right here where we're at. It's reserved for fire, which is the fire that proceeds out of the mouth. How it's God's people are devouring their enemies. The Earth is not going to blow up. So everybody that has a desire to enforce the law so these people, these demons, can stop attacking you and harassing you. That way for the next 5 months, that sting of the scorpion sting that they can feel, and anybody else who thought that they were going to continue on with this disgusting way of life, putting this mask on and forcing people to do it, making them feel like they have to do it. Anybody on my channel and throughout the world, I'm sure there's other people that want to do, like Peggy Hall. I would definitely give her some authority, give her a badge, because she helped me understand. And, you know, my friend on Facebook, people deserve to get badges for upholding the law, because if it makes you nauseous and you can't tolerate it, because in order to tolerate something you have to stomach it, anybody that has a desire to lay down the law, but you don't feel like going through the hassle of having to call corporate and file charges, you are the enforcer, that you can go in with your badge of honor, which you deserve, for because your works do follow you. I know my works follow me, and in the end, right before this reset, because today's 21st December, it's the winter solstice, I believe. Jupiter and Venus are meeting together. Jupiter is the biggest planet. That's the supreme god. And then Satan, Saturn, is the second largest planet in the solar system. Is that right? They're both meeting together at the V-shape today in the spiritual realm, which means usually you give it like 3.5 days or some change, and there's a short period of time afterwards where that as it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth meeting. Satan met his match in the year 2020, because Satan met his match in the year 2020. He met all of his matches, everybody that complied, everybody that did the surgery thing, male to female. He met his match, like Match.com. But in the end, the year 2020, Satan himself met his match. So when you finally meet your match and you get defeated, and or you can't defeat your match, then you join that spirit and you cast out Satan, that old serpent, the dragon called the devil, the one that deceives the entire planet. That spirit gets cast out of that person because they met their match, and they like the match that they met. So because Satan met his match, the year 2021 is the agenda that, well, for the first 5 months, people are going to be feeling some stings. And I told you, you're going to feel the stings. But not until you start feeling them. So Christmas is Friday. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Well, the new year is all about laying down the law and reversing everything, all the damage that was done. Going into these stores. Now, I heard grocery stores going to be shutting down for 2 weeks, but regardless of, in the meantime, while they're open, because some people might think that you're wasting your time because everything's shut down and we're just all going to die. But I mean, that's your scared belief with no faith. You have no faith because you don't understand God. Like you don't get how that the Spirit is the same Spirit that cast Satan out of the vessel of the person that is in the flesh, as Satan in the flesh. There's a mouthpiece. There's a mouthpiece of God. There's a mouthpiece of Satan. And they both meet at the crossroad. And they nail everything as it's fastened to a sure place. And then they just kind of like, all right, it's all new. All things are new. All sins are forgiven. It's time to move on. It's time to lay down the law and get people to, you know, you're not forcing anybody, because these laws are upright, just laws. When you have an irrevocable license to go and purchase food to survive, and a grocery store is saying you're breaking the law because of their policy that they created, well, they created the policy because of a recommendation from CDC that encouraged them to create these mask rules, and having employees comply with getting things shoved up their nose to get tested and vaccines, and then brag how nobody they don't have any they don't have any positive tests because of their policy, their program. He said, your program is a policy that is a algorithm that, when you are complying so well with the social score like China, and you're wearing your mask and all your employees are doing that, and then you get better brown nose points with the face shields, even though you're not required to wear it, but you know, but you are. You're not required to wear it, but you have to. These face shields, gloves, it gives you a better score. And then when you're in so good with the Warminster Police District, and this one clown is trying to enforce the law, like, get out of here, loser. You can't make us do anything. We're going to make you get out of the store. Yeah, you get perks, you get benefits. Obviously, the officer knew Mr. Kohei by name, said, "How you doing, Mr. Kohei?" And then proceeded to talk to Ali Barakat. He threatened to carry me out of the store. He concealed his identity. He was falsely imprisoned. He was impersonating a police officer by, well, making up his own rules and telling me that I needed to get out of the store. He's gonna carry me out. I mean, usually police officers kind of carry you out if you resist arrest. Resisting arrest because there's a bogus trespassing charge that you can't enforce because there's no law stating that you have to wear a mask in order to go into a store that you have an irrevocable license to be in, because it's a public accommodation, because it's open to the public. Regardless if it's private or not, it's still a public accommodation. The other laws that he broke is discriminating against my religious beliefs. My religious beliefs are made of ethic and moral beliefs. That creates a religion, not a denomination, not a Christian, not a Catholic, not a Buddhist. Your actual ethic and moral beliefs creates your religion. That's your religious beliefs. My religious beliefs were violated, which is a violation of the federal law that I would like to enforce personally, in person, with a badge that says I am a whatever, a director, lieutenant, whatever stage that is. I'm not really new at it because I'm kind of new at it, but I know what the law is, so I'm ready to enforce it with the backing of something that says I can enforce this law on you. You are breaking the federal law. Ali and Joe, oh my God, I would love that. If nothing else ever happens in the world, my strong desired wish would be to be able to get that badge and go back into ShopRite and enforce the law on my own. And open up the doors and make them follow what's right. That's right, force them, because they're forcing me, but I'm forcing you to do things that are upright and just. Do I go in here? I forget where I'm at. Can't remember. Yeah, I probably missed my turn. That would be my wish, to be able to do that. To be able to start opening up the stores. I'll do it for free. Whatever. I just need a badge to show that I can do it. I don't mind, you know, having my 144 acres, my new home, retirement. But look, I mean, I know there's 5 months of people that need to get stung. And I know that Derek is only on his 3rd year come December 31st, 2020, in 10 more days. So he still has 6 more months to go before his 42 months is completely up. So there's still work to be done because stores got to open. It's not going to just disappear. Talk about revenge. Oh, that's revenge. But that's reserved for the Son. You know, the Son of God. So the Son of God gets the revenge. But see, God himself does nothing. All he does is reveal secrets to his Son. And then it's reserved for his Son to take wrath against everybody. But when you have an actor on the planet acting as the Son of God, and then someone acting as the Father, God, and then there's a Holy Spirit somewhere, well, it's all individualized, even though it's really just one. So the wrath of God is reserved for the Son. So for 5 months, that wrath that's going to come upon all the people, it's going to sting like a scorpion sting when it striketh a man. So I'll be glad to take that badge of honor as the Department of Justice, because it is justice being served on a platter. Vindication, victory. Oh man, that feeling of just being able to go back in there without having to make phone calls and talk. It just, you know, let's go print up my ID when we meet, and I want my name, a nice new picture, and I'll start wearing my suit and tie. I have a new look, a new life. Look, I waste 8-10 hours a day. I have no problem driving anywhere. I can drive all over. You know how many stores I can go into with without the hassle of having to do the phone calls and the cops being called. And I mean, they can call the cops if they want, but that's where it ends. With my badge and the federal laws, because it's time for them to be intimidated and not to be able to think that they can just get away with it because they're the law. Well, there's a law above those officers, and it's the federal law. They need to follow the federal law. And I won't abuse it. I'll do it strictly for free. Yeah, whatever. I have no problem enforcing this law with the badge to be able to do it with no problem. So 10 hours a day, I'm already wasting my life doing nothing really important. That would be more important for me to open up these stores. And however the economy will be, whatever the system is. Look, you know that Venmo app? You send money to it. It's like you have credit to do something. All you got to do is just put like $100,000 on my account thing, like credit towards stuff. I mean, I'm good for a couple years. Good for quite a few years, and a house built. You know, I just need some spending money for. I like to buy some new clothes, have a few pairs of shoes. Mind that. I need some gas money to drive around. And I mean, that's it. I don't really ask for much. These people that have been doing all this stuff for millions of dollars and they're just abusing their authority, like Governor Wolf, he needs to go. I want to be the laws need to change. You can be the governor of the state that you're in. That's my new law. Because why? Because I'm not going to abuse my authority. I already know what authority I have, and I'm going to be handed. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to abuse it, and you know that's true. The problem is other people will take that authority. They'll say that, but then once they get in, they won't. But anybody that's been surveilling me since I started, you know the truth. I do it See, you need a new animal, more ruthlessly efficient. That beast needs to be more ruthless. It needs to pronounce the word ruthlessly, more efficient. Because it's cheaper. It's cheaper to go with the route of me instead of all these fools that are breaking the law intentionally, knowing that they're like. How can you not speak up, Wolf? You're the governor of Pennsylvania, and you're setting these mandates that are unlawful, and you know it. You got to get out of here. So I actually want to be the governor of Pennsylvania, but my main home will be in Florida. But I need to govern Pennsylvania because I feel as though I have that right because I'm working